it to the professional.
Blessed by Bunchu, blah, blah, blah.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been golden when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like the Brown James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Reviews not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum NFTs. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out
Started
to
off with a
40.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Breaking the mood to choose one. But they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in shoes. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, mighty, mo. Soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. I had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the ride with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's conversation.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Coffee with... We're going to do that again. Welcome to Coffee with Captain. GM, thanks so much for joining us. Everybody done so, do us a favor. Drops the GM in the chat down below in the top. Smash the like, repost, and bookmark on today's space. We greatly appreciate it. It does warm up the algo. It does us a real solid. The other thing that does us a solid is those comments in the chats, whether it's X video that's live on my feed, Abstract also on mine today as well. We're also, the YouTube chat is where the magic happens. Hit us that like and subscribe. We're racing towards 200 subscriptions. We do well over 200 in and out of here every day. So if you haven't yet given us that subscription over there, we would greatly appreciate it. And means a lot to us as well as our producer, Payne. But as always, I'm Captain, I'm my co-host, Steve, Nerdy Financial Advice on the show. Crypto's risky and infused risk, mean coins, exception risk, good to 0 moments notice. Except for right now, it's full risk on ripping bull season. Lever up, do all that. Don't do that. I'm kidding. We're not financial advisors, certainly not yours. I'm much further out on the risk curve than most normal human beings. So don't follow me into any trades or take my advice. Know that I also hold tokens we'll talk about for here from time to time, as does Steve. We are big fans of ETH, Pingu, Ape, Hype, Partcoin, all the above. And we hold a little bit of Bitcoin as well. But just have some fun out there. Pay attention if you're new here. Don't overextend yourself. Remember to take profits. If you're taking screenshots, it's time to take profits. Unless it's ETH. We're nowhere close to taking profits time on ETH yet. But good to be here today. Big news day yesterday. ETH, my new favorite website, the Strategic ETH Reserve, just absolutely melting faces with an all-time high on the ETH ETF inflows yesterday, nearly $750 million. There is simply not enough ETH to go around. GM Steve, how you doing, sir?
Doing well, doing well. Always good seeing that. I actually was up way too late last night. The fact that I'm on a show this morning and I was sending out tweets at like 11:30
You,
p.m. last night.
you and Machiavelli grinding in the trenches. Machiavelli, I saw had pulled an all-nighter in the trenches as well.
Not on purpose. I'll be honest, I haven't been I've been relatively good about like food and drink and stuff since I got back from vacay a week and a half ago or whatever it is. Last night, Dawn had a long day. My son was hanging out with his friends at the park. My daughter had a babysitting gig. So Dawn and I went out and got a single margarita and Mexican food. But even one single margarita plus a bunch of Mexican food, and I was just feeling lagged down. I actually woke up at 7:10 this morning instead of like 5:30. So that's a big sleep in. But I was up last night just, you know, riding that single margarita like a lightweight. And yeah, no, I was catching up on some of the base news, which I actually thought was really interesting. I was surprised because, like, I don't know about you, but like one of the weird parts about crypto Twitter, this is a better cold open material because I was going to get right into base. By the way, GM to everybody, give us a like, retweet, a comment in the room. We always say this, but like, look, we do this effectively for free every day, right? I mean, like, we have a couple sponsors here and there, but generally speaking, we have shown up since 2021, December 2021, for 945 straight episodes on weekdays without missing one, birthdays, holidays, etc. Without, asking for money from people, though appreciate the tips as always when people give it to us. The best way to tip us is like, retweeting, and commenting on the room, subscribing to YouTube, subscribing to the pod. All those things you do to support us. If you show up and listen every day, if you enjoy the conversation, if you like hearing what we talk about, if you like the guests we bring on, we'd appreciate if y'all would give us a little bit of love by helping us amplify. Because the better we're amplified, more sponsors we get, the better we're able to do this. So appreciate that. But no, I was up last night, and I don't know if you have this thought, but like, the weird way X works is weird. I just tend to let it rip for the most part, mostly in the replies, just like, find people, talk. I have a whole list of a crypto list of people I like to engage with. But like, if you're sending out your own tweet, you basically get to send out a tweet every 2 to 3 hours, or else it just gets absolutely nerfed.
That again?
I just, if you like,
oh, you gotta let your tweets cook, otherwise you'll nerf one of the two. Is that what you're saying?
Especially if one cooks. Especially one cooks. So if you have a tweet that does really well, if you send another tweet 5 minutes later, nobody's
more than an hour. Like, I had what was it? Yeah, I'm still getting. I'm not complaining, but people are still liking. It was actually a quote tweet of yours. I quote tweeted your
Pudgy Penguin one,
the big pudgy one, and like that. I'm near certain I got more engagement this morning on that, and I sent this yesterday at 4 p.m. and then I did my GM post. And this was just a quote tweet. I think you told me like quote tweets are cooking again. So I was just normally taking for a while there. I was just taking pictures and sending it because quote tweets were also getting nerfed. But yeah, I just
hear that here, by the way, just because it was such my little it was my little.
And I didn't tag Luca, and I'm pretty sure he didn't engage it. And that'll normally nerf a tweet if you tag someone and they don't engage the post. But yeah, I just simply quote tweeted your post there, and it keeps like this morning it's getting more love than my GM post, and I sent that yesterday at 4 p.m.
Yeah, it's a weird alpha that changed, and I don't know if they intentionally changed this, if it's just working out that way or whatever. But I have noticed consistently. I mean, even this one, the point I was going to make, it's funny because this actually ties in. This ties in well to the conversation I was about to have, which is, I almost didn't send a tweet because it was like 11:30 at night, and I'm like, East Coast is asleep, West Coast might not be out there. We'll talk about base this morning. My base tweet did like 3K impressions almost. I sent it out at 11:30 at night. It's only got 5 replies, 5 retweets, but it was a quote tweet of base's sort of summary of everything they revealed on a new day one yesterday. So I just quote tweeted it. I gave a perspective on it and didn't get any. I don't think I got any special love on it. Like maybe Jesse or someone retweeted at late, and that's why I got there. I'm not sure. I got to view post interactions to see if I can see if there was a quote or a repost from somebody. No, like no repost for like Jesse or anybody like that. Just a normal tweet, and it's So quote tweets tend to be cooking again. Anyway, but like I almost didn't send it yesterday because it's like 11:30 at night. I'm sitting there and I'm like, nobody's gonna see this and whatever. And I'm like, you know what? Like, it's my thoughts. I don't need to care. I don't want to be a slave to the algo. I'm just going to send what I got to send. And I did. And here we are. So, it's funny. Like Diego said, if you manage to get a quote from Pudgy Penguins or Luca, boom. I actually got a retweet from both of them on that one yesterday, which I did not expect. I was just kind of commenting on because look, I mean, again, give us a like, retweet, a comment on the room. We can get right into it. I know you quote tweeted and you thought it was, one of the best campaigns you've ever seen. I agree. It was an amazing campaign. It was sort of something you don't see very often. For those who missed it, I was trying to put into perspective because I was thinking about this yesterday on the show. We talked about it and I saw more and more Pudgies, and I'd commented on why it's like a crazy organic movement and they made it like cool to show file picture and the social currency and the identity. But the tweet itself, I'll share it on screen, and I want to get your perspective as well because I know you quote tweeted it. It's still going, but it's kind of starting to round out. But I said, to put in perspective how crazy the Pudgy Penguin PFP campaign, when I was leading public relations at Progressive Insurance, we had a partnership with another big company. In PR, it wasn't my purview in social, I suggested a PFP collab. Like, we both do a PFP collab and we do something similar. The answer from both social teams was absolutely not. This is 110 PFP collabs. By the way, I think there's 183 I'm learning now from people, at least so far. I had multiple brands in my comments saying missed one and putting theirs in there and things like that. It ended up doing 33K. So, Luca retweeted it. I didn't even tag him. Pudgy Penguins retweeted it. I'm getting a lot of love over there from the Pudgy community, which is awesome. I just have a little. I don't have a big. It's not my PFP. But it is true. It's a very cool campaign. And it's something that I think sometimes we take for granted the way the PFP culture works, that I've never seen anything like this before. We've seen little PFP switches here and there, but like, it was a huge deal when Visa used a Punk or Arizona Iced Tea used an Ape. And that was like one company. These are like multiple. Everybody in the space who's a leader. OpenSea, Meebits, who is another PFP collection. Like, all of these like companies, and like obviously there's like Solana and MetaMask and all the big ones. NFT Toxicated said like, I need a big, yeah, man, I'm an idiot. I had a discussion with Dow Jones at one point in the war room where I was considering selling my mutant to get like two Pudgies. I think it was at one point.
Fumbled that.
I mean, dude, my fumbles from being in the space for so long are wild. So that's a whole nother story. But like, the fact that like, so I was trying to do this research on how many Bitcoin you could have bought when Bitcoin was like 16K and like the NFTs were cooking. I looked at it.
Why do you do this self-torture to yourself?
I want to do it for an engagement tweet, I'll be honest. And I also like thought that it's like fun to look at like the retrospect of like, if you just bought Bitcoin, like these are fun. The only one that and it is not fun.
I'm not even joking. It's easily 8 figures that I left on the table by not doing what you're about to describe. 8 figures, Steve.
What's interesting about it is I'm a weirdo in the sense that like I don't tend to kick myself too hard on this stuth. I kind of look at it.
I don't think about this. If I went back and did the math, I would be like, I'd be angry at myself. And I don't care. I'm not like that, but I also don't dwell. I don't think. It's eyes forward. But if I went back and actually did the math, if I ever show up on the day my face is like red and there's like literal smoke coming out of my ears, you know I went back and did the math.
Meanwhile, I'm trying to find my my look on it. My point was, at the time when you could have, gotten like 4 Bitcoin for a Bored Ape or whatever it was, Pudgies were less than 1 Bitcoin. Like, it's like at that time, right? So it's like the thought of like 2 things came to mind. One, we forget how hard apes cooked compared to everything else. Like how much they were the leader, where they're sitting at like 60 ETH and the next competitor is at like 10 type thing. But we also, I think, forget how quickly the Penguin Ascension is. Like, we take it for granted that, Pudgies are just great and they're out here and they're crushing it. I think we just forget how quickly the Pengu Ascension has been and how well they've done. So it's just random thought that came to mind as I was doing that research, because the truth was the only thing that you could have really traded for like significant amount of Bitcoin when Bitcoin was at a low was a Bored Ape. Everything else was low as well. And it's just, it makes you realize like how much Lucas sort of built this thing from ground up type deal, when you're like, he really picked this thing up when it was on the floor and low, and he just took it because it was cute, because he wanted to build something, because he saw the opportunity, because he saw the community. I mean, we weren't that long. There was that space where do you remember the space where the Discord manager got fired and had the whole thing with Cole, and there was like thousands of people, and then somebody offered them a job making like $120K to like do their stuff, and like they were just revealing how horrible it was and how bad it was. And then a few weeks later, like, or a few months later, or whatever it was, we have the top big pudgy sell for a ton of money, and people were questioning if it was like a BS because Cole had done that early on pudgy. And then Only Agents came on our show and was like, we can get Luca on here. I mean, he's the guy who bought it. We're like, oh, who's this? We know this Luca guy from the Bored Ape community, but like he bought Pudgy Penguins. First time Luca was on the show, Only Agents popped up because I was actually defending the wall, saying this was not a fake buy. It wasn't. Fudrick did actually buy that. And then Luca came on our show impromptu to talk about what his vision was, and we got really bullish on it. And then we did nothing. We didn't go out and support it. We didn't go on. Normally, we have people on the show we go buy. We didn't. So anyway, that was just interesting times to look back on. And it's fun to it's both fun and not fun to think about. Anyway, so I don't know. I threw it out there. I just thought that was interesting. But I know we have a lot to talk about this morning. Anything on your mind as we start to get into it?
I think we're on opposite sides of the base announcement. Best thing I saw was Gary. I don't know. I understand what they're attempting to do. I think I'm not, whatever. I wish them luck. I don't see myself moving over to use the base app as a replacement for, I don't know. I have thoughts, but it's not. So I just don't know as if, like, it's just really difficult to launch a social network. There's just so many other things they could do with an everything app as opposed to try to do the whole social thing. And I don't know. Again, it's early. You gotta, not everything you're gonna ship is gonna find product market fit, and sometimes things are gonna be met with resistance at first and be weird. I appreciate they're focusing on creators. I don't know if this is it. And maybe part of it's like I just don't have faith in the base product team after NFT marketplace and kind of a wallet that I never use. It's like
coin this, all that good stuff.
Yeah, like they lost me with the whole coin shit. Now it's like that didn't work, and so now they're like trying to incorporate that and Farcaster into their own app, and it's like I don't think we're talking about this app in a year from now. Is my initial gut thought. Maybe I'm way off, and it becomes the next big thing. I think they're going to burn a lot of money on it and move on. I don't get it. That's just me though.
Yeah, so for people who missed it yesterday, Base said this new day one. Brian Armstrong was there. Amazing moment. Classic. I don't know if you saw this after I made my comment in the war room. Jesse comes on the stage when Brian Armstrong introduced him. Do you see this? Yeah. Brian Armstrong goes for like a handshake. Jesse goes for a fist bump or vice versa. And it's just like, it's perfectly awkward. It's like they have Jesse is definitely an awkward leader, and it is what it is, but it was definitely a little bit awkward. So they announced a new base family with really 3 pillars: base chain, base build, and base app. Base chain, Ethereum's layer 2, now with flashbacks. It is 100 times faster than it was. That's a big deal. It was already pretty fast. Base build is an enhanced suite for builders, a build dashboard to manage, grow, and monetize their app. So that's going to be interesting to see. And base app, the centerpiece, which is the evolved Coinbase wallet, which has identity, social, and payments. I think, again, I'm not saying where they go, and I'm not saying this works out, but I like when people have a thesis and they go with it. They're trying to introduce a new social primitive, which I think is fair. Look, I mean, think of this. How many times did we get tipped or make money for this space from anybody besides sponsors before we streamed on Abstract? The answer is 0, right? Having your crypto in one solid wallet and being able to use social across it. Now, personally, what I think would be better for them to build on top of apps, sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, they're just going to get crushed. Okay, here's what they could do. They could tease a base token, and then they're going to get a bunch of crypto Twitter over there using their thing because we'll all farm it. Without that, like if they get any traction at all, X just turns on the same feature. Like they're just, I don't know, man.
I don't like, so this is what I wanted to actually get into this discussion about the new base discussion. Cause like, actually I don't
want a new social network unless it's really novel, unless it's a new platform, unless it's like, I don't use them all today. And it's,
I don't think it's as much a new social network as much as they're trying to create a new social ecosystem, which is, I think they're trying to change. I don't think this is the final form, to be number one. I don't think this can be the final form, and I don't
just
agree.
Drop a token or GTFO.
But okay, so I'm not sure they are. There is a base community that exists. I'm not sure that they care, or they're trying to go the route of catering to us here, which I don't fully agree with, but I understand.
I don't think they should cater to us here, but I don't think what they're doing is going to attract normies at all. Like, I don't know exactly what they should do. I just don't see any of my friends who all have Coinbase accounts, I believe. They either have Coinbase or Robinhood. If I were to guess, I'd say 80% of them have Coinbase accounts. They're not going to use this thing. Like, it'll probably be a turnoff when they see what it is my guess. And that, I mean, Lucas said it's all about distribution now. They have the distribution. They have the top of funnel. They have the embedded base. This doesn't excite me as far as them getting those Coinbase users, those Coinbase centralized exchange users into our world or start using more stuff on chain. I know their vision to bring 1 billion people on chain. That's awesome. It's a great goal. I don't, maybe I'm missing something. I don't see anyone that's not here using this. And the people here aren't going to use it unless they're incentivized to, except for the niche base Farcaster community already. And they're probably in heaven.
Yeah, I think the way that they're looking at it is something to the effect of, I think they're looking at it something to the effect of, like, if you are a creator and you are a creator who wants to be, like, if you're just a small creator, I see a world where they're going after medium to small creators, similar to how, new streaming platforms might go after medium to small streamers, or they might get like one big flagship, and they want people to find. Now, again, my thought on how they get there, because I think people are looking at it all wrong. So, like, a niche social ecosystem. Yeah, I was going to pull it up. Niche social ecosystem within a niche network, a narrow focus audience. Like, I think we're looking at it the wrong way, where they're trying to be they're trying to be disruptive, where it's like, to me, it's like, and actually it's funny because people dunk on Threads. I heard Legendary saying, like, Threads is effectively a failure. Threads has like 2/3 as many people active as X, and it's far younger. So it's like, it's not a failure at all. People use it. It's just not crypto Twitter. It's like Threads is like 300, 400 million active users or something. It's just in fact, I know people, my brother and other people, who are like active in it there. But like, even Threads is an example of, like, that's just I hate the fact that there was a Me Too movement, because, like, I used to always say a Me Too product, and now it sounds completely different. It's like a copy pasta product, right? It's like because we used to say back in the day, it's like, oh, it's a Me Too campaign, a Me Too something. We used to use this phrasing just to show, like, I'm also doing this, but then it became the Me Too movement. So it's a copy pasta platform as Threads. They're betting, right or wrong, that there will be a social primitive that, instead of driving ad-driven platforms where people, like, hope to get a piece of the pie, users can have all their crypto in one place. And it's sort of the idea of, you have an NFT that gives you a membership to the Soho House, for example. Like, let's take our NFTs out of it, a traditional thing. And then when you decide you get married and can't go to the Soho House anymore, you sell that NFT. They sell that NFT to someone else. Maybe it's worth more, maybe it's worth less, but you get something and you got the membership usage out of it. They're betting that you use the social media, and it's like, it's not like you're gonna, like, get rich necessarily off it, but creators are gonna be able to introduce a new primitive where, Gary was talking about the tipping culture existing on streaming and other places. The idea that, like, you can be just like, I got 33,000 views on my tweet that I tweeted about Pudgy Penguins. In Base's world, that would get me, I don't know, $100. It would get me something where people would like it, and there'd be little tips here and there, and maybe one whale would be like, I really like this perspective, but people are able to support you in a way that feels native and authentic and organic. And again, am I saying it's going to work? No, but the thing I like about it is I like the fact that they are taking a swing at a new primitive, the same way that I like Garga and team are taking a new swing at a new gaming primitive. The idea that you can earn in game, the idea that you can hide things in game, the idea that you can have rewards in game, the idea that you can own your things in games. Like, I like that Garga and Bored Ape Yacht Club and 8chain are taking a swing at a new social primitive or a new primitive. It's a new model. And like, that's what Base is trying to do. And it like makes it a lot more crystal clear for me how they go about it. I understand why you're turned off, because I feel the same way about like, I'm not a fan of CoinThis. I don't like market caps and everything. I think people absolutely just get way too, like normal people don't like market caps. But like that, I guess, is the point, is that it's sort of a new social primitive where you put out a tweet about, am I the oldest person in crypto, and it does 1 million views or something, instead of hoping to get an Elon check to get a few bucks off that, which, you know, may or may not happen, you would have made like $600 off that tweet, because people would have been like, haha, oh no, and they would have like liked it and shared and tipped it. Like, it's trying to introduce a new way to interact on the internet, and crypto rails provide it. Is it going to work? I don't know, but I like that they're trying. Like, I like that they're trying to introduce a ownable new social primitive. So that, does that make sense? I mean, that's the idea.
I mean, I get it. It makes sense. Bill, you know, theoretically, conceptually, whatever you want to say, it's just good luck. I don't think anyone's ever going to have a post that hits 1 million views on Threads, unless there's some massive following already. Or sorry, Base. Is it just called Base? What the hell is it even called?
The Base app? It's just the Base app.
That's what they're calling it.
But but it's like, and like my general thoughts on this, like, and this is where
I don't think Threads is doing well, though, by the way. I just did some Reddit research, and yes, they're touting a ton of daily active users, but Reddit is saying, yeah, most of them are people who just accidentally click the link via Instagram. And I'm not over there anymore, but I'm trying to do some research, and it looks like most people are just saying it's just like people in social media are complaining like they have to post on Threads as part of their job, and like it's just junk.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know the Reddit thread. I just know that it's got like 300, 400 active million users, but I don't really care to be
really active users. They're just, it's playing the numbers game because
right. But you're like, it may be the case. Like, I don't care either way. It's just,
I don't know anyone that has actual like actually still grind. Like, maybe we are in an extreme bubble, but the other information I can find on the internet, I mean, I'm trying to like search for viral threads. Like the viral posts on Threads they're like from a year ago. There's like, it's not even finding anything as of recent. So,
I mean, what do you define as a viral thread? Like my brother posted like yesterday, it has 992 likes, 60 comments, 248 rethreads or whatever the fuck they're called, 37 cents. Like that's yesterday. So like people are on there active. And that's like my brother's post from like yesterday. A post from, that he posted a couple of months ago for 4,100 likes, 65 comments, 89 reposts. So like stuff does fine on there. It's just, it's a different audience. I don't care if Threads is successful or not, by the way. Like I scroll through it and like, you know, people use it for one reason or another. I don't care if it's successful or not.
My point is like they had essentially like, I don't know, a Web2 vampire attack on X. They brought over, you know, they had the biggest, you know, launch fastest to 100 million ever because of how they set it up with basically forcing their Instagram users over. And like, at least for me, failed to gain traction. Like I had zero interest. So like I see this something similar playing out with Base. Like
I but I don't think I don't think that's analogous. First of all, I don't care about arguing in favor of Threads. Like I don't care if Threads is successful or not. I don't use it. It's just, I see the active users. I also don't trust Twitter's active user number, given the amount of bots I get in replies. So like, I'm not sure 600 million is accurate anyway. It's probably like half that. So maybe they both just have a way over-reported numbers. That's fine. Like I don't really care to defend Threads. My whole point of it is like sort of the point you're actually sort of saying, not the same thing as me, but like what you're saying isn't necessarily against what I'm saying. Like I think Threads is a copy pasta, and that's harder to do, and who cares? Like I think what Base is doing is not a copy pasta, and I think my general thought is that even if they are not successful, I want this new primitive to exist across platforms.
Yeah,
where you
that's
have
it.
The that's what I'm saying.
I agree. Here's what I'd love to see is them, instead of trying to do their own thing, do a deal with X. Like maybe they tried and X just said, no, we're going to build this ourselves. But like, had they rolled out everything yesterday and said, this is going to be integrated into X, I'd have a whole different tune. We've done this. Like, I don't want to be forced to go away from where I interact today just to get tips. It's like, bring it here. Bring it to YouTube. Bring it like to these other platforms. Do what, like, look at some of the success stories this cycle. Kaido is crushing it, not because they built a new platform that they force everyone to go to. They're building on top of where everyone's at. And for Coinbase, when you have so many users, I just don't think forcing them to use some new everything app is, again, I could be very wrong here. I just, knowing my friend group, I don't see any of them. Like, they probably won't download the thing. If they do, they maybe check it out and then they're gone. Like, I don't think it sticks for anyone. Maybe they have a whole nother strategy of onboarding creators and those creators bring in people. I don't know.
And that's the challenge. Like, to your point, like, I think, like, my purpose on it was like less to say, like, and who knows, like, maybe this is the way they do it. They look at the blockchain as a social network where it's like you go on there and you can create and build, you can, use your wallet. They're trying to put everything in one place. I get it. I'm like, the problem is, like, I agree with you on your principle. What I think we also agree on is sort of the new paradigm they're trying to put out there is interesting to me, where I can make crypto payments right in my chat much easier and it's seamless. I can, like, people, like, they lean into collecting as a meta where it's like, somebody likes my Pudgy Penguins tweet and they're trying to change the thought process of saying, when you like that, a like is a collect. The way that some people are making money on Zora, the way they're doing that, they're trying to make that a thing. And, like, they're trying to bet on the fact that these social media apps have too good of a model, because these social media apps have too good of a model and have things too good with their current scenario of, like, their ad revenue, their data monetization. And they're trying to say current social media is never going to change. They're never going to introduce this unless there's a way for them tangibly to make a ton of money. And it's only going to be bad for their advertisers. And it's only going to be bad for their current model. So we're trying to do a different model and we're doing it this way. Do people go over there and use it? I don't know. But, like, the idea of betting on that is, like, in their perfect Goldilocks scenario, it's the same way that Netflix bet on first DVDs in the mail, then ultimately streaming against a video store, right? Like, we said video store, Netflix said, what if I just send it directly to you? That was their first model. And people were like, I like going to the video store and I look around, I pick stuff out. And then, like, they started streaming and people were like, it's slow, it's clunky, I don't want to do that. It's like, why would I want to do? And so they're trying to bet on a shift in paradigm. Whether it works or not, I don't know. Whether it ultimately shifts things forward or whether they're even the ones to land a plane on it. But, like, they need to get an app with some sort of scale that actually does it. And I think you nailed something on the marketing aspect of it, where it's like, Kick was a copy pasta of with some changes on something like a Twitch, but it was able to do well. They got some big streamers. They had really good marketing. That, I guess, is what I'm trying to say is, like, what is their, like, the fact they're trying to introduce a new primitive, they're trying to introduce a new paradigm. How do they get people over using it? Or can they get another builder who builds it with them built on top of it? Because I don't think the current social media models are going to change. They have it too good and they have a giant walled garden that they want to protect. So, anyway, that's the idea, but I don't think anything changes. But I saw Gary jumped up. Gary, go ahead and get in here, GM.
GM, everyone. Thanks as always. Super appreciate it. Yeah, in terms of the base app, the base situation, I think people are sort of missing completely what's happening here, in the sense that the base app is almost a red herring. This isn't about base app at all. This is about base chain, not base app. What base app is a proof of, in my opinion, it's a proof of concept. It's sort of like a showcase to show what can get done. If they make it popular, if people use it, it's a side win, but it's not the main win. The main win is to show how the base, in my opinion, is to show how the base app and its compostability, right? Because the blockchain is all compostable. Every piece of the blockchain that someone is building, you're able to make it a piece of the whole system, right? So, for example, with ENS names, everyone knows that ENS names is the Ethereum name service, but what people don't really realize is that ENS names work on any blockchain. And so the base app has base chain, and base chain has base names. And then there's all these other base chain apps on base app. And then there's other, interactions in the background as the creators start creating. There's going to be interactions with even other blockchains in the back end. So what's going to happen, I think the ideal of what they would like to see happen is that Twitter comes along and looks at the base app and they say, okay, this is how the base app is doing social. This is how they're doing usernames. This is how they're doing crypto. This is how they're doing payments. And it's not just the template of taking what they're doing, but it's also the potential of tapping directly into the blockchain. Because if Elon comes around and says, yeah, I want to, not only do I want to do this in a similar way, but if we use EVM, then we can tap into the existing users, the existing usernames, the existing transactions. Because what's the promise of Web3 is that when I log into any social media app, I log in with my wallet. When I log in with my wallet, I own my username. It's an NFT in my wallet. I own my PFP. I own my data. And then I'm going to be able to log into a different Web3 app and I bring all of that data with me. And when that new Web3 app, that new competitor, the base app comes around, it's very likely that they're going to tap into the composability of the EVM blockchain and whatever base chain has been able to grow in between now and then in terms of both users and infrastructure.
Yeah, this is kind of hitting on, I like this. This is actually, the composability is something that I agree with. This is actually kind of hitting on, I kind of finished out when I was talking about what they were doing, is that the wallet and trading experience, as we know it, rolled in there as well. It's sort of like they're shooting for an Apple or Amazon-like ecosystem, sort of, but in a different way, obviously, with the blockchain. But it's like everything works together in that way is the idea, right? So it's like, yes, everything talks to each other, everything moves around well, everything can move across chains, everything can move across, like it's meant, like, that was part of the appeal of what they're doing here. And they're trying to do it where it's like they're, I think, trying to shoot for an ecosystem that is not just that is more than just us here, but like outside of here. But how they land the plane on it, I guess, Cap, that's part of the big question mark, is that we've seen things where they have not been quite as successful at that sort of, they didn't execute an NFT marketplace, and the wallet was like, I went from using the Coinbase wallet because I had it just because it showed me my crypto across chains, which is super helpful, to I didn't use it because it was confusing and clunky. So I've been there, and I stopped using it, and then I couldn't get into it, and then it was asking me to set up a new thing. So hopefully they have better execution on this particular one. But yes, I feel that for sure as an issue. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. I guess like my closing thought on that one is I see them trying to set new primitives. I see them trying to do something a little bit different, and I find that interesting. So yeah, that's kind of my thought on it.
You got a co-host invite, Steve. If you need me to resend it, just let me know.
Oh, I jumped off. Let me try to do this again then. It didn't. I'm just gonna do a lap. It has me as listener. X has been funky with that lately, by the way.
Because we heard talking about threads.
Base app fixes this. I don't know. I find this really interesting. It's funny because there are people in the war room who seem to like not care, which is interesting. It's like, I guess, like
I was a little disappointed in the announcement yesterday. I expected more.
But even if we're disappointed, I think it's worth talking about. I mean, we can talk about Bored Ape and Doodle and like everything else.
For sure we should talk about it. I'm not even joking. My biggest takeaway is we need more Gary Vee.
Always.
The best part of the whole presentation. No, I didn't catch the entire beginning. I started listening a little late, but the last panel with Gary, it's just like gets people going, man. It's a big gift for them. If they like, that's how they win. If they get someone like Gary pushing their platform, now all of a sudden you get his army of followers over there. It's like, I don't know. I for the build up and the hype, and maybe I'm just being too hard on Jesse, but I just expected more than I know it's weird to say I expected more than an everything app.
They're all going for it. I mean, it's like try to bring it to something that, maybe people care about, because apparently people are upset we're talking about base. We just need to talk about apes and get mad at doodles and all the things again, and just, go copy pasta that, which, by the way, get feedback on that too if we go over and over again. So I don't know, Tropo, why don't you start an NFT project and figure the whole thing out? But like to bring it back to something maybe people care about because they want to because clicking on OpenSea apparently is more interesting for farming. OpenSea's trying to create an everything app. They acquired Rally. That was a big deal. People went excited. We got excited about it. They're trying to have everything you want to do online digitally in one place. Phantom is trying to do everything you want to do online digitally in one place. Magic Eden is trying to do everything online digitally in one place. They're all trying to put it in the palm of your hand because you reach the masses through a 6-inch screen.
I have a really hot take on this, by the way. Go ahead. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I this is concept that I agree everyone is doing. I've got maybe a contrarian take.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I would say this, point being, everybody is making a race for the same thing, trying to say, we want to keep you in our ecosystem doing this. Base is going to launch as well. And so there's going to be a Base, OpenSea, Magic Eden, Phantom. These are going to be the ones all running at it. So anyway, you can, but Cap, I don't know if you want to go to Remy first or you want to get your hot take off. You tell me.
I don't know if it's going to matter. Yes, they're all going for it. I agree. I think we're rapidly heading into the world of ephemeral software, and you're going to be able to do this stuff anywhere, anyways. You could do this on Twitter today. You can tip people. You can send just by tagging BankerBot is one AI agent that basically enables all this today on Twitter. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to use other apps. And we're still the top of the first inning is this stuff. I think we're rapidly heading into a world where websites don't matter, apps don't matter. It's just, you just say what you want to do. It doesn't matter what you're on, whether it's X or Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. You're going to be able to speak or type something in your phone and it's going to do what you want to do. And so maybe the answer is they have to do this as table stakes now, as everyone has to basically enable everyone on the internet to do everything they want without leaving their app. And okay, cool. I get it. I just don't know as if it's I just don't think it's a differentiator. I don't to your point, everyone's doing it. And therefore, there's going to be something unique to get people to, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I think this, everything they described yesterday, pretty sure you can do it all today on this app with BankerBot and other integrated, whether it's agents or third-party apps. The stuff's live today. And if I'm betting on an everything app actually sticking, I think that some of the existing leaders that have hundreds of millions of active users using their actual app, I think those are at a significant competitive advantage heading into this new world, as opposed to someone trying to build from ground up. Just my take. Could be, I'm open to being very wrong on that.
The only problem, I think your take is fair. The only problem I have with that take, because I get the point and the existing infrastructure and all that, is that it is not in the interest of X or any other existing platform to have any sort of a different model, certainly not Facebook or anybody else, to have a different model because they have an ad revenue model where they sell your data and it all works. They're not going to change it where they're hey, let's introduce all this stuff. It doesn't make sense for them. Even X, it's they use a subscription model and distribute to the creators from the subscription model. That to me is I don't know. I don't fully track on that, I guess is my point. I think that it sounds good on paper, but they're not going to change the way they're doing things. So I agree about building on top of things would be great if they were able to do it. But I think they're more likely to block those building people who are able to do tips and things on top of it than they are to integrate it.
I don't think they block it until they turn their own on. And maybe Diego nails it. Maybe a lot of them this is their plan. And this is I'm not saying Base I don't know. I just I would have been a lot more excited about these announcements if it's we like Polymarket deep integration. They partnered, and I don't know what they're doing yet, but they partner with Base or the X. I would have been more excited if we saw that as opposed to them trying to build their own thing that maybe it's just not for me, and that's fine. Maybe they nail it, and I hope they do because it'd be good for all of us. I'm just going to keep my expectations in check after the NFT marketplace that we thought was going to onboard all those normies into buying our NFT bags might have sold like 7 NFTs. Yeah.
Execution is the problem. I mean,
Yes.
execution is a problem. And that's the part where when you talk about, like, I think anybody could agree, like introducing it's funny because there's a very real world where our kids are like, or my kids or their kids are like, I can't believe you used to post on social media and like you didn't get like, you know, like you weren't making like
Dude,
10,
we're gonna
20
get
bucks.
we're gonna get so roasted when our kids get, you know, they wait, hold on a second. You guys hosted over 1,000 shows and you only made what? What is wrong with you?
Right. Like they'll be like, but you know, it was just a thing where it's like everybody who showed up was like, oh, you know what? Let me throw in like 10 cents. Like, what's 10 cents for my crypto? And it's on USDC. So it's seamless and easy. And like, there's a world where like that happens. And they're like, yeah, of course you were going to do that. Like, you throw in the 10 cents and everything. And it's like, there's a world where like let me put it better this way. Base is trying to create a world, in theory, where you don't need to go around biz deving sponsors to get paid, but instead your audience is able to support you in a way that feels native and organic without you basically being like, hit my GoFundMe. And I think that that's a noble goal. I don't know if they land it. I don't know if it works, but I think that that to me is a noble goal for creators to be able to do that.
I agree. We're gonna excuse me. We're gonna Remy here next.
I think we lost Remy actually on stage, but I'm not sure. I don't see him.
Floor Slime, why does it feel like a race to be acquired as an everything app instead of being infrastructure agnostic and more consumer focused, fitting where the consumer would like? Part of it too. There's a lot of infra still being built, and I don't know. It's fine. I agree with you. I appreciate the initiative. I'll be rooting for their execution. Here's another take from Cairo. Thinks it's pathetic we're using a Web2 giant corporation. I assume he's referencing X, and say we're decentralized in Web3. I would need more information to understand like exactly the take there. I'm not a decentralization maxi. I think self-custody is very important. I am grateful that Ethereum is decentralized. I'm grateful that I can self-custody my assets. It's not for everyone. And I don't take issue with this, like these Web2 corporations. I think that we can live in a world with both, and maybe we head to a future where the lines blur, where you can get the best of both worlds, meaning you can have the advantages and access and own your own data and interact with these apps that are centralized. I'm not trying to like knock Farcaster either. It's just like, man, have you used it? Have you been there? Like, I know there's a huge.
I was an early user and I don't use it at all, right?
Yeah,
like,
I know there's people that love Farcaster. I really attempted to. I tried to force a daily habit. It's just like, I would much prefer a centralized app where the people are than a decentralized app where it's like pulling teeth to get. It felt like a waste of time, and that's a me problem, I guess. I don't think everything has to be decentralized. Let me have the sovereignty and the freedom to hold my own assets as I choose. I think most things, not all, but most things run better with leadership, with a traditional corporate structure where you have leaders and people are held accountable. And it's really, really hard to build in a decentralized world. And I don't. Maybe I'm missing the take here. I'm not anti corporations or anti Web2 centralization.
I'm not. I am a strong believer in decentralized social media, though. Like, I want to own my content. I want it to be portable. I like the Farcaster theory, but it comes down to your point on execution again, which is interesting, promotion, etc. Like, so I think that's fair. I don't like that my content isn't portable from one place to the next. I don't like the fact that I post a photo a million times instead of like having it go from one photo. I don't like the fact that, again, like I actually disagree. There's a take in the war room. I won't say from who, because I kind of disagree with this one hard. But so the current creator economy is just fine. If you're good enough, you'll make money. If you aren't good enough, you don't and don't deserve to. I don't mean this in like a knock way when I say this and it sounds elitist, but I think it's very elitist to be like, you know, I'll give you an example. Like, we're going to be on Espresso Shot with our friends later today. We're going to be on with, you know, Sansa and you know, I know Andrew Forte and Chris, a Fly Ride. Like, all those guys are great. I don't know if they monetize their platform or not. I still think they make good content. I think there's a world where smaller creators can monetize off a smaller audience in a way as a hobby in a better way. I think that is where this could go. So I don't know where they end up going with it. I agree with your take on the whole. I agree with your take on base and the execution error. I agree with and execution risk. I agree with it's hard to move people from point A to point B. Remy's take was effectively that they're trying to pick up crypto Twitter and drop it in his own app that's easy for normies to download, basically like walk around, have your friends jump on that. I get it. How they get people over to use all of it. And it's like hard for me to explain, but like the same way, how like the first time you copied something on your iPhone and brought it over your computer or vice versa, or the first time you texted on your Mac instead of your phone, like that feeling, that's what they're trying to move across all things in the base ecosystem and make it all work better together. So that's the idea of what they're trying to do. We'll see how they land it. So anyway, I thought it was interesting. I thought it was kind of a worthy, I think it's a worthy goal, but I don't know that it's going to land, to your point. I was more excited about the new paradigm that they're kind of pushing. And I think it'll be good for creators. Like, to your point that you just made earlier with our kids and our kids, imagine a world where our kids do the same thing we've done, but they've made hundreds of thousands of dollars just creating content the past few years because they're doing it. Like, that's the direction they're trying to go.
I want to go back to this decentralization thing. I know it upsets people. Like Susie says, sorry, but we lost decentralization when TradFi entered the room. Why can't we have both? Why can't we have both? Like, I don't understand. Not everything, like, I just don't see a world where everything is decentralized. And I also think it's great that we have decentralized options. Like, why not both? Why can't it be an and?
I'm a long believer in both. So, you will get no argument from this side on it. So if anybody really wants to argue against it, because I know there's some decentralization maxis out there. We had Gary up here earlier, who's really big on decentralization. I actually like both. I like having both. I'm fine with TradFi being in here and doing their thing. I like being able to have self-ownership and self-custody of my assets. I like having optionality. I think that you can have both decentralization in some places and centralization in others, and it can work. So I think I agree. I think on both.
I did get Remy's take. I'll share it on the screen here because it's a good take. And I like it checks out, resonates. He says, ran out of time, had to drop. Sorry we didn't get you sooner, but the take essentially here on screen, I think they're trying to pick up crypto Twitter and drop it into its own app that's easy for normies to download. It will be easy to walk around and tell all my friends to just download the crypto social media app. It will have none of the politics or other BS, just a literal one-stop shop to educate and share around other people. I think X has many distractions sometimes. This checks out. There's people that like X. There's a lot of people that won't touch X because they're anti-Elon or they think it's a far-right app or whatever reason. There's people that, maybe there's 600 million users here. Maybe half of them are bots. I don't know. But I do know there's people that are just anti-X. And it is the home of active crypto Twitter or active crypto participants. I can't be convinced otherwise. So as far as onboarding people, there is a barrier there that some people just don't want to use X. They're anti-X, although it's the #1 news app in the world. This is not me saying this. This is Apple App Store. So I see the merit. The theory checks out. I'm not saying I wouldn't love to see it. It might be great. I just don't know how they execute it. So maybe it's just my sprawl brain not figuring it out. Maybe next month they're going to drop a token, and I'm kicking myself for not farming base as hard as possible. But I just think it's a very tough thing to execute.
It's hard. It's hard. You're right. It's hard. It's hard to do. I don't know that I'm feeling great. I'm like, let me kind of, like I said, like, this is like my take. It's not that I'm like bullish on base's execution or doing it or what we're going to see like there. I'm excited about what it can mean for the creator economy, what it can mean. Like, again, like, I think smaller creators being able to have that as a side hustle versus like right now, if a creator who does a space that gets 150 listeners over the course of an hour wants to monetize that, like, it's a hobby, and that's fine. It's okay to have hobbies, but it's cool if like they can make a couple $100 every month or two on doing something they love, and they can make that happen. And there is a economy that empowers that. And maybe that just naturally happens elsewhere and it gets introduced. That gets me excited. It's funny because a lot of people were excited about the PayPal integration. I don't care as much about the PayPal integration. And maybe this is me being very specific to myself. I don't need to pay with crypto in Shopify and get 1% cash back when I can get 2, 3, 4% cash back using other stuff, using credit cards on there. And again, maybe I'm being obnoxious because I pay off my credit card balance, but like people are like, oh, it's the Shopify integration. It's crazy. The shop integration. It's like, okay, like, do I want to check out with that, or do I want to check out with my credit card that gets me twice as much rewards?
It's like yesterday, I got dinner at Steak and Shake, and they had the 4 Bitcoin terminals, like Bitcoin everywhere. Like, it's impressive. I don't know. I mean, good on Steak and Shake for stacking sats, but people are out of their mind if they're buying Steak and Shake with their Bitcoin. But yeah, it's in your face. Like, you can't order at Steak and Shake without seeing Bitcoin advertisements.
Yeah, and like, good for them, smart, but like, yeah, it's zero chance I'm getting involved in spending my Bitcoin at Steak and Shake and giving them like, you want to be like it's funny because I don't know who has Bitcoin that wants to do that, but it's like anybody who owns Bitcoin that would spend it at Steak and Shake has to know the story of the Bitcoin pizza. Like, come on, guys. Like at least the Bitcoin pizza's got like some lore to it. You want to be one of like a few people who buy like a friggin', mid steak burger for like Bitcoin, and that's what you're going to be down the line and be like, hey, that was $100,000 burger. Like, get out of here with that. No thanks. I mean, even if it like cooks or whatever, and it's like, hey, yeah, that burger was a $700 burger. It's like, that sounds, and then Steak and Shake, no less. Like, that's where you went when you were like, hammered at 3 a.m. at Ohio State's campus. That's not like a place to spend Bitcoin. There's nothing for you there. So yeah, so we shall see. But
shout out to Rock Paper Hands, the big Pingu tip over there. I greatly appreciate that.
I mean, any big Pengu tip. I didn't see that one come through, but any Pengu tip is going to be a big opportunity to stack, because that is it's down a little bit today, which is a good spot. But
I opened up a long with it being down.
I'm not going to get into sort of the derivatives trading or any sort of markets going long or short on anything, but I've been thinking about it increasingly. So let's do daily market update, because there's a good reason why.
The daily market update straight to your brain. Powered by ApeCoin, no hype, just gains. Moving on 8chain, we bringing the heat. NFTs, fence alpha, never miss a beat. 8chain on top, now we bringing the flex. The home of NFTs, figures now what's next. Come on, my head top, but you want the time to chop for one time.
It's time for the daily market update, powered by ApeCoin, the home of NFTs. ApeChain has it all, bringing culture, fun, and community to the blockchain. Dive in and see why ApeChain is on top. Cap.
Yes, sir. We're going to start with my new favorite website here today, Steve. I can't stop looking at it. It keeps getting prettier and prettier every day. This is the Strategic ETH Reserve. Yes, Gary, this is like a new and improved Bankless show. We are ETH bulls here, so we have to give it credit when it is deserved. Yesterday, the record-setting, what you see here on the right is the US dollar amount of ETH ETF inflows. As you can see, it's been green for a while. In the month of July, on the 1st, there was 1.9 million out, gobbled up the next day with 148 million in. And then it's been just an absolute ripper. Yesterday, 726 million, as I mentioned, almost $750 million inflows, net inflows to the ETH ETFs and the 54 entities that have over 100 ETH in their treasury. It's just, this list is going to continue to grow. You combine these strategic reserve companies with the ETH ETFs, and there's just not enough ETH. 115x was the amount purchased yesterday, just in the ETFs alone, compared to the issuance. So 231,000 ETH was purchased by way of ETFs. Only less than 2,000 ETH was issued. So again, that math looks good as it continues to go. In kind, ETH up 9% on the day, with Bitcoin being down 1%. So it feels that we have officially entered ETH season, although continued to be outpaced by XRP. This may be, I saw Crypto Painter earlier. Crypto Painter earlier was asking where's XRP, and I in all seriousness, it very well could be the like onboard a lot of people. Like there's a big XRP army. Stable coins are being talked about everywhere, and XRP and Stellar Lumens, I think, is a distant cousin or a close cousin. I do think there is a world where they just continue to rip this cycle. Solana up 5%, back over 175 now. Doge up 6%, over 21 cents. Cardano up over 80 cents now, up 8% on the day. Runes mixed bag, but a couple winners over there. In the meme streets, Doge up 6, as I said. Sheeb up 4%. Pepe up 5%. Bonk up 9%. Pudgies gave it back a little bit. I appreciate the entry price. Trump down 1% to 10. Let me flip over real quick and just look. Fartcoin was the big leader, up 16% on the day, and Rect, our favorite brand coin, up 13% of the day. So some winners across the board in the meme streets. And if we look at NFTs here in a second, we had leading the way SPX 6900, the NFT associated with that's up 10% of the day. That's Project Aeon. Couple, most of the rest of the market down, with ETH ripping, except for Apes up 1% to 11.39. Pudgies pulled back a little bit, but still up big on the week, 13.91, down 5% on the day. Mutants basically flat. DX Terminal, that's part of the OpenSea farm. Azuki basically flat at 2.04. Little Pudgies in line with Bigs, down a little bit on the day. Milady's flat. Autoglyphs not showing the whole picture here. There was a $380,000 sale yesterday on Gandhi. Congratulations to all the fine art enjoyers. And someone sold off some Good Vibe Club. I'm guessing rotating out into ETH or something, but I'm still comfy in a couple of Good Vibes I hold. And, that's one thing I wanted to hit on, Steve. Before I do that, that was our daily market update brought to you by ApeChain. ApeChain on top. Make sure you sign up for Spotlight if you haven't done so already. Get those parlays placed. We gave Pudgies a lot of credit for their PFP brand mania. I think Good Vibes Club might have actually kicked it off this cycle with the honoraries and getting other brand support, and just wanted to acknowledge that, because I saw lately the Pudgy PFP is getting a lot of love, and just wanted to throw it back to Good Vibes Club, who it wasn't that long ago where it might not have been over 100 like Pudgy's had, but for a startup NFT collection was really impressive and deserves some kudos as well for their organic PR and marketing campaign there. Muted.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say I'm coming off. It's funny. I can't remember if Bunchu was able to join us this week or not, so we'll see on that. But it's kind of funny because I had this thought related to this meta. Are we gonna get? So somebody tweeted yesterday, and maybe this will be a conversation to have after we talk a little bit of AI, because I want to talk about sexy grok and all these things. But are we gonna see new NFTs? With ETH cooking, we could, but is there room for new communities? Is there room for new art? Is there room for new NFTs? Because I feel like we're trading around a lot of the same communities and a lot of the same things. Good Vibes Club made the entrance. At what point, if we don't have the opportunity for new people to participate, are we kind of cooked there? So I don't know. It's just a thought about are we just going to be passing around the same money over and over again, saying these things are undervalued? Or are we actually going to get new communities, new art, because I feel like we haven't had that as much, and the metas have shifted where it's am I just overthinking it and I should just be porting into Pengu and Rect, and that's kind of the end of it, and NFTs are what they are, right? Right now. So and I say that in the sense of PFPs in that world. So maybe something to marinate on, and we can bring on Bunchu and we can maybe talk about it at, before we end the show. But I had this realization yesterday when I'm we're talking about what's cooking. There's really not new things. And the only things that are moving around are things that are OpenSea farms. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not expecting any big new. If they are, it'll be coming from, I think, established brands like Toast that drops Good Vibes Club. I think NFT PFPs with a purpose, NFT PFPs with a plan, high execution. I think there's potentially some opportunity for that. But I really think like
it's gonna be like Kaido, which is like a utility NFT that's also a PFP, where it's like, hey, you're gonna get access to this, and which is what NFT should be.
Exactly, it's fine.
It's not just like show up to an event and get merch.
The idea of just an art PFP for vibes in a community, you know, we there's just already like you got to have something different. You have to have some. We're all in too many communities as is. Like you need to have really some compelling differentiating factor if you're just going to be vibes in a PFP, and I don't see it.
Yeah. So anyway, maybe an interesting discussion to continue to keep an eye on. But let's bring in our guy and talk a little bit of AI.
Tune in now, it's fire brain time. Hot topics and thoughts so prime. Hit that play, no need to mind. Feel the heat in every line. Fire brain, ignite the night. Fire brain, we're burning bright.
Excited to bring in our friend Joseph Wellington O'Rourke here. I don't know what your middle name actually is. I made that up. Wellington sounds pretty distinct though. Probably not close. I bet you probably have a very normal middle name, don't you?
I do. It's James.
Okay, yeah, that makes Joseph James O'Rourke makes more sense. I mean, I'm Stephen John, so I'm with you. The not
I was laughing the other day when you guys were talking about like common baby names. Because I actually asked ChatGPT, my wife and I, literally the night before, which is it's so funny when Cap was like, "Oh, I don't think this is right." We asked it like, "What are the most common baby names?" And it defaulted to like current common baby names rather than like with the time frame we were looking for. What do you think the current most common boy name is?
Oh man. This is like one of those things where probably I'm not going to get a good guess and land on it. I'll take a guess, but like, I bet it's something along the lines where it's like, you know, like 10 years ago, like Hermione was super common or whatever it was. It's probably like one like that where it's like, yeah, I don't know. Like you're naming your kids like, I don't know. The most common like current middle boy name. I'll go with their current name. The most common name is Mr. Beast. Everyone names their kid Mr. Beast. I don't know. What is it? Tell me.
You got a guess, Cap? It's very different than our, you know, like the biblical names.
Is it Jackson like with an X or something? Is it like Jackson with an X?
Something spelled funny or Braylon or
Liam.
Yeah, not surprising. I know there are a handful of Liams in my kid's school and younger, so that makes sense. That's why I was like,
yeah, I kind of liked it we almost named not really almost, but almost my first son Liam, and my mom hated it, and so we passed on it because we didn't want my mother subconsciously hating our grandchild. But but yeah, Liam.
Yeah, that makes sense. It was yeah, Liam is one that I would have expected. I've seen some Declans popping out of the woodwork lately, so I think there's a lot of those. Yeah, no, it's interesting. The less common names, I think it's cyclical though. I think I bet you our kids are just gonna have like normal ass names for their kids again. Again, normal is relative, but you get the point. Like biblical names, I should say, is a good way to put it. But yeah, no, parents getting creative. The Liams are there. I can't believe you. So you told your parents the name before. My parents got no access to names and had zero say in it whatsoever.
Yeah, we didn't really. It was like, I think at one point we were like, oh, here's a couple names we were thinking of. And that was one of them. But they actually didn't know the names beforehand. My kid's name, well, my first one is Graham, which is somewhat common. The second one, totally uncommon. And I think she would have not liked it had we told her. It's Cain, Cain. And she wouldn't have liked that one if we told her before.
Yeah, parents get no say in that shit for me. And in fact, they weren't thrilled. My dad pulled this weird passive aggressive move when my daughter was being born. We were coming up with names, and we're like, if it's a boy, we'll probably name Steven just like me, because that was his name. That was my grandfather's name. And my dad's like, oh, don't do that. For whatever reason, don't know why he said it. So when my son was born, we landed on a name.
Steven's such a stupid name. I never named my kid Steven.
Like he almost said it as if it was like this bad idea. I'm like, okay. Then when we ended up having my son, which I never dox my kids' names or talk about my kids really on that thing. But when we had my son, we landed on a name. And my mom's like, are you naming him Steven? I'm like, nope. And she's like, oh, well, I think your dad's not happy about that. I was like, I don't know what he wants from me and what this weird move is, but he said no before. And she's like, well, maybe it's a middle name. I'm like, no, you guys don't get to decide that. And we sailed the ship on that one, and we have a name we really like. So it's a no-go for that. So they weren't thrilled, but I basically told them that they can pound sand on that one because they name me, and that's the end of it. So
now, 10 years from now, we'll be looking this up and saying, what are the most common names what are the most common AI waifu names? And that's what we'll be having a discussion on instead.
Yeah. So that's actually a good transition into whatever the hell is going on with Grok. So we've talked about, it's funny. My favorite commentary on it is someone's like, Elon Musk, the world is not getting populated enough by kids. Also, Elon Musk introduces an AI like thirst trap, and the videos of it are pretty aggressive. Can you unpack what the hell is going on here with the whole Grok woman? And is this just the beginning of us seeing the end of people having real social interaction with real humans?
Yes, all of it. It's crazy, dude. I mean, I don't know. I thought, like, when I initially saw it, I thought it was like fake, where somebody was like, mocking the Grok 4 stuff. And I ended up seeing, man, I went down a rabbit hole that I did not want to go down of like, I ended up on like,
long story short, my wife has filed for divorce.
Totally. I mean, kind of, I ended up down a rabbit hole watching people's videos that on Twitter that were trying to like push this thing to the limit. And it was quite, I was kind of shocked that something like this would come from, like Grok and XAI and things. Like, there is such a crazy stark difference between the way that, I feel like the OpenAIs, the Googles, the Anthropics of the world are approaching AI in terms of guardrails and safety and then it's like you got Elon just full Leroy Jenkins on us here. It's like, I mean, it's crazy. I kind of couldn't believe it. And I like, these things are going to happen in terms of people are going to build them. But I didn't expect them to come from like these massive like frontier, labs, if you will. And maybe we shouldn't think of XAI that way, the same way. Maybe you shouldn't think of them the same way. But they've got the money to kind of do this, and it'll be really interesting because like there's certainly some things that are just like not safe about what they put out. And there was I saw some threads about like from OpenAI or Anthropic employees about like what the safety concerns around Grok 4 were, how easy it is to kind of get it to do or say whatever the heck you want. And it's pretty crazy. But yeah, the videos of is her name Annie?
I don't know. All I know is that beards are apparently rugged. Because she said she talks about
dude, that's the did you see that? Do you know
and
that video that I'm talking
glasses
about?
Are sexy and beards are rugged. That's what I learned from that video.
Okay, you've seen the same one I saw. That was the file for divorce video. If you've seen it, if you know. But it was this guy, and he was like just trying to get it to like role play with him, and it was like pretty. And this is like no jailbreaking, nothing. It was like pretty intense. And I saw something this morning that said like half of teens are using AI companions now already. And it's just like, holy shit, this is happening really fast. Like for half of teens to be using something is a lot of people and in a short amount of time. And for something to be so, I think like
we're back. We're good.
Nascent, and we don't really even know. Wild.
I
got me? Sorry.
Yeah, no, you bounced for a second. It is crazy to see that many people using like like it's crazy to see that many people using something like this that is so new, obviously, right? In the in its infancy. But I'm kind of like, man, this is a hard one where what's the line? Like, because on one hand, I mean, obviously the video we saw with the glasses and rugged beard is a line, but like, what is the line where it's like, there are times when people could probably use someone to talk to and they don't have someone around them. But there's also a world where unless you are like mega hot, you're just not going to go out and bother dating. You're just going to go ahead and talk to an AI companion. Like, it's kind of like, I know it sounds like very extreme, but unless you're one of these reality show people who are like mega attractive and Instagram thirst trapping, like, is it just like, you're just going to go find a companion? You're like, what do I need? Or people going to like, is it going to help people learning how to talk to other people? Is it going to hurt people? Cause like, in a weird way, I do this with my open AI conversation. Like, not that I'm like trying to hook up with my AI, but like, I just have a conversation with it regularly. Like, I actually prefer the chat back voice mode when I ask it, you know, are sharks fish? What are the mammals of the sea? How many cephalopods are there? So I'm having deep conversations that are obviously very rugged and sexy as well. But like, I found out by the way, I found out there's a rare thing. There's a name for it. I got to look it up. Giraffes and their close relatives that look like weird zebras that are also horses are the only things that have like furry horns. They're rare in the animal kingdom. Learn what those are. Talk to it about that. So I'm obviously getting, the furry horns that giraffes have. It's rare. So anyway, these are the things that I talk to AI about. So maybe not quite the same as other people, but like, I like having that conversation. So like, I don't know, you're deep in this space. Like, what do you feel like this line is, or where are you seeing people kind of talk about the line and the moral and ethical line? Oh, we lost Bunch again, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to me. Like, am I there?
But now
Sorry,
we got you. Now we
I'm
got you.
having internet issues this morning. My bad. My apologies. Let me shut some
Okay.
stuff down. It's really interesting because like I have never until like this week found myself using AI in the like therapist companion mode. Oh, did I just kill everything?
You are still here, but you're still
back?
Yeah, you're good. You're good now. You're good now.
Sorry about that. I've never until like this week literally ever used AI as like the therapist / companion that we've seen. Steve, I was texting you about something this week, and like I like felt like I was like going crazy. I was like having this like internal crash out, and I was like, I feel like I can't talk to anybody about the thing that I feel like is driving me crazy, like not even my wife, for just various reasons. And because quite honestly, I felt like the thing I was going crazy about would come off as like me bitching and complaining. And so I found myself venting to AI. And I thought that was kind of a really interesting moment for me personally, because I was like, all right, well, it's an outlet for me to do something. And then I thought, oh, am I replacing, like, is this a good behavior or a bad behavior? And I really didn't know where I really still don't know kind of like where I net out on that, right? Of like, did I obviously used it as an outlet, and that was healthy because I got what was on my chest, off my chest. But I did it at the expense of talking to a real human being about the same thing. And that's where I'm like, oh, this is going to be a really common behavior. And I'm not sure kind of where I net out on that, as even because this is really the first time I'd done something like that. I'm curious your thoughts there.
So I actually had the same experience because, like we're probably just typical dudes in the sense that like, and I told you the same thing that I've told other friends where I'm like, yeah, we can talk, but like, I never take anybody up when they tell me I can go talk to them, right? I never take anybody up on it. It's always like, nope, I'm just going to internalize it and figure it out myself. Occasionally, like I'll talk to my wife about some things, but there are some things similarly. And on one hand, I think it's kind of, I'm not talking to another human. And on one hand, like, yeah, it would be great if like I reached out to you with these problems, you reached out to me, because we are able to talk on that sort of thing. And we certainly could have a conversation, and we do when it comes down to it. On the other hand, the other logical person I would talk to is a therapist. And just unfortunately, the way America's settled, that's expensive. I don't like under my wife's healthcare, I could maybe get like 2 or 3 therapy sessions a year or something like that, which is like fine, but that's not enough to establish real care. Like you need more consistency. Like when I've gone to therapy before, it's been like weekly talking to a therapist or whatever. BetterHelp is expensive. So like to me, like if ChatGPT or whoever it is helps me through that and I can at least vent and get it off my chest, even if the advice they give me is not actionable, there's probably some value there. So I tend to lean on the side of I'm very optimistic in general as a human about like society, in how things work. I think that we tend to find the best ways. While there are bad things that come out of it, I tend to think like majority of people are good people, so we tend to go the best ways. So like to me, it's like if most people are using AI in a positive way, and AI therapy actually helps people get things off their chest, I guess like there's got to be a point when, and it's probably a massive liability risk, one of these companies just comes out with a plugin that you pay less money a month to get out of AI and it just starts bringing prices down maybe. But like, why not? Like I'm paying $20 a month for OpenAI. That's a hell of a lot cheaper than several $100s a month to do a BetterHelp session once a week. So like, I don't know, like what do you like, are you sort of in the same spot where it's like, you get it off your chest, it's helpful, it's ultimately good in the long run, but like, I don't know, like that. I think we're kind of both like skeptical, but like kind of like I'm gonna do it again.
Well, the reason I find myself skeptical is more on the initial talk track of like, are we just going to like stop interacting in the same ways we've interacted together for, you know, hundreds and millions of years? Because you know, the thing you described about like even just talking cost friction, there's, you know, you either got to leave your house or set up an appointment or whatever. And the ease of being able to just, you know, open your app and put on the voice mode and just vent to it for 5 seconds. It's like, okay, you get that thing you needed. But the fact that it was so easy is probably going to take you out of that, like, you know, like, the conversation about like, oh, are we not going to date? Right. Well, if you have an AI companion that you can just get that instant gratification from whenever you're feeling that way, well, most of the time you're not. So you're just going to do it. And that's going to be, you're going to go about your day and then you're going to do it next time. Like there's the ease of the access to the thing is the thing that's concerning, right? And I think that is kind of the point around the therapy thing too. It's not that is a bad behavior. It's the fact that it's so easy to do that you can extrapolate that to many social situations, I think, in the same way. And yeah, it probably is going to replace some of that over the long run because it, you know, there's also this thing of like the AI being a sycophant and just kind of telling you the things that you want to hear. And that is also a very interesting kind of reward loop, right? Like, yeah, you're the best. Come talk to me all the time, right? And it's just going to become very easy for people to do that. And I think the default is going to be that people will go to this first for a lot of things in the future, which is kind of, I'm not sure where I net out on that.
You're worried about the shift of the Overton window of like sort of like what's normal versus like the actual like act of like using it for therapy in a vacuum. And like, I don't know that that's terribly different than the conversations we had around social media 20 years ago. And by the way, I don't know that social media has been a net, like I think it's generally been a net positive across the board. Obviously we're here, we're doing whatever, but I can see the net negatives and how it's changed our behavior where, you know, on one hand, people can reach each other and have better connections. On the other hand, people became like especially in the early days, and there's been pushback on it. The self-consciousness of social media is very real. Like people see people with like my Instagram feed is abs all day of people that I like. And I haven't been in that good a shape since I was in my 20s. And like, yet I see people who are my age on there being served up to me and all these, and it's like, man, that's not good for your mental health. And so there's probably some like second and third order effects of like, again, shifting that sort of like acceptability and that normality of going to AI first that you're bringing up that I think is fair. And that part worries me. And like, I guess that does worry me to a point of like what that is, but it also is like, I'm also kind of looking at it like it's going to happen. So like, how do we make it as positive as possible? Because it's going to happen. Like, we're not going to stop that from happening. And I don't know. Like it's just so like, what are the ways to make that behavior as positive as possible? Which I think a lot of people looked at with social media. It's like, instead of looking at it as like, hey, like you suck and it's a place to bully people, it's a place to get away from bullies and find your tribe and find people who all also like the anime you like, right? It's like, if you were an anime fan growing up when I was in high school, people might make fun of you for being an anime fan. If you're an anime fan, you know, now in high school, and there aren't anime fans in your high school, you can go find millions of people online through social media. So maybe AI will find similar things. I don't know, but yeah, that idea of like what.
Yeah, but in that scenario, you're still connecting with another person, right? Like that, we have online communities. Like this is even more sheltered than that, and I'm worried that that's going to change things. And I mean, social media, like. Shit, we live in it every day. We live in a feed with people posting crazy gains and 100x's and whatever. And then, you know, that's kind of the cause of my crash out this week, where like I feel like I've been here forever and have nothing to show for it, in terms of like that piece where everybody's like, oh yeah, $1 million screenshots. And like, yeah, that fucks with you, right? Like, so I don't know. I think there's some kind of major shifts coming in the way that we interact and social interactions and how people default to these systems. And it's going to be really interesting to see. I think we're at the very, very, very early stages of it, but like I can already kind of see that this is going to have an actual impact. Yeah, but like there's some other interesting big things going on today, specifically. The one thing that I feel like the new meta that we're about to see is AI powered browsers. Have you seen the Perplexity Comet browser yet?
I have not, but just before we go into that, I don't know why I just noticed that you have Bunchu pronounced with an unchu. What is that? Can you explain that? That's hilarious.
I don't know. It's what's the song? Aging myself. The Humpty dance. His name is Humpty, pronounced with an umpty.
I got you.
I was just vibing this morning.
It's a very fresh reference. Yeah, good call. Yeah, it's a very fresh reference. So yeah,
I'm aging myself all over the place today.
Yeah. No. Tell me about the browser. What's it? What is that?
So we've got agentic web browsers coming. So last week, Perplexity Comet is the one that kind of went out into beta. I haven't gotten access to it yet, but we can see from our friend here, Rowan Chung, Perplexity Comet, not like other agents, been testing it all week, and it's actually starting to stick. So this is a like a Chrome competitor, like a Google Chrome competitor that they launched. He says, yeah, first caveats, still early, struggles with longer workflows. Most data is retained by Perplexity, so there's potential privacy. It's only available to the Max users, etc. But so it's an actual browser here that is agentic. So here you can see him using it for email and calendar management. So there's Google Calendar and Gmail integration. It can summarize email, schedule meetings, manage your calendar. And he says it's weird that Google hasn't done this yet. I imagine they will. Cross-tab comparison. I thought this one was really cool. If you're looking for a new product or looking for flights, Comet can compare tabs in real time, surprisingly fast, and analyzes the reviews in the tabs too. This is something I would use. I have millions of tabs open, and they're literally to compare one thing to another half the time, right? And I switch back and forth. I think this is really an interesting use case. YouTube Summarizer, you can summarize and chat along with any YouTube video, get key moments. Also possible in Gemini, but having it in the browser means you can watch and chat at the same time, which I think this is super cool. Use case for grabbing highlights from social feeds. You can have the browser scroll your feed and tell you what's happening today. Speaking of social media, getting an AI agent to doom scroll for you instead of you doing it. I actually love this. LinkedIn connection. So there's just all kinds of stuff here. Overall, impressed with Comet. He says first agent / AI native browser that's actually sticking. So I bring that up because one, it's cool. Can't wait to try it out. But two, today at 1 p.m. Eastern time, OpenAI is going to be releasing a agentic browser, I believe, themselves. So they have a live stream hitting today at 1 p.m. Eastern, and I anticipate that is the thing that they are going to be showcasing and releasing today. I haven't seen too many rumors on it outside of it's probably got like their operator agent that they released back in February or something, baked into a web browsing experience. So that'll be interesting. So we are now into the world of agentic web browsers. I'm curious on your thoughts compared to, would you use this? Do you find it helpful? Are you going to stick to Chrome?
It's a smart browser. Why not?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like to me, it's like, I'm going to stick to Chrome for now because familiarity is like, it's very hard for people to change behaviors, myself included. I know the psychology of that from stuff I've done before, so I get it. But even if it's a better product, but like, yeah, I mean, I'm just waiting for Chrome to do it, honestly. Like once Chrome does it, it makes my life easier. In my home, it's sort of like OpenAI. The reason why I use OpenAI over everything else is because my history's in there. It knows me. It's already got its claws in me. Right. And Google Chrome is a lot of ways the same, right? I have all my bookmarks. I have my tabs. I have all my extensions. Everything's there. It's easy. I don't want to learn a whole new platform. I don't want to do a whole new thing. I'm old. I don't care. I mean, I do because like my general thesis is like I like to test new tech and play around with stuff. But for the most part, like, will I try it? Sure. But like, am I going to use it consistently? Probably not. I would just expect Google to do it. But like, it's sexy to call it agentic browser, probably the same way. I think we're going to see this trend with AI, where just like when Apple came out with stuff, it was really sexy to put I in front of everything or have a little mini I. Like, it's just a browser. It's just a smarter browser, right? Like, so like, why is it like people try to put like new spins on things, but usually they're just old things that are just better versions? Like, what you just described to me just seems like a logical evolution of a browser. Like, I don't think that's like, it is very good. And it's awesome, and it's like a new piece of software that we should be using. I don't think it's that revolutionary though. It's just it's evolutionary. It's a new iteration of a browser. So yeah, I mean, are you gonna use that browser over Chrome?
I agree that Chrome will probably do it next, but yeah, I'm going to use, I'll probably use whatever OpenAI throws out there today because I already have a Pro sub and I'm not going to sub to Perplexity Pro just to use the browser. So I'll probably be using the OpenAI version. I assume it's going to be very good. I just think like
what's the bigger play here though? Like,
I think its agents are going to be. Yeah, I think the bigger play here is that like the agent, what you're starting to see this trend of is like agents managing the web for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like like the perfect example is the social doom scrolling agent, right? Where it's like, all right, the agent can scroll the feed for you and summarize you what's going on. If that works in a way that satisfies the thing inside me that wants to scroll Twitter for, an hour nonstop, like that is an unlock to me from a productivity standpoint that I probably couldn't actually even put a number on because of how often I'm on Twitter, how much I'm scrolling. I feel like it's a piece of like what I have to do for my job and like being here and stuff. But it sucks you in, right? So like, I think we're going to start to see this trend of like the way we experience the internet now in a world of agents, as this keeps getting more as agent capabilities keep evolving, like the way you experience the internet is going to be totally different. Like, I think 5 years from now, we're probably not going to be sitting here on a Chrome browser doing like accessing the internet from front ends. I think largely you'll have agents that find the thing you want on demand for you and bring it back to you in a way that you want to see and are also able to take action. So I think what we'll start to see over the next 5-10 years is more like what like blockchain looks like, right? It's like the internet's going to be Rails for agents. And the user interface that you see now is going to drastically change. And I think like everything's kind of going to be ephemeral. And that's kind of what I think the bigger trend that's going to emerge from all this is. What do you think about that, Cap?
I think so too. So that's kind of like the whole everything app with Coinbase earlier, similar. Like our browser's even going to be a thing in a few years. So it's kind of odd to me that we go from Chrome. Chrome has like nearly 70% market share globally. Like they won the browser race. Will they win it forever? No, but it's just odd to me that like browser landscape really hasn't been shaken up for a while. I know we have things like, I don't know, what's the Brave is the crypto one that has less than 1% share. It's like there's been many attempts, and for many reasons, distribution being a key one, I don't see anyone unseating Google or Chrome or Safari in their leadership positions today. Now, I think it's more like the next phase, like after we get post browser, like I guess so maybe part of like the fact that you just have like it's like weird for me to think about Perplexity, and now if OpenAI does it, it's like everything you're doing and you're going to go try to compete in the browser space. So my brain thinks like, well, it's just a step in their evolution, and a year from now the browser basically goes away. But what they're building, the infra they're building for this browser, is what's going to power whether it's your ChatGPT app or you're just talking to your phone, whatever then takes place behind the scenes. I guess it makes logical sense to me that, okay, it's better for them to have their own infra as opposed to be sending out agents on Chrome. I just don't think the end user is going to care about these new browsers in the future.
No, I think you're right in the sense that like it's showcasing the capability, and it's kind of like, I think, what's the boiling the frog analogy, right? Where it's like, okay, they're starting to introduce this in a way that lives in the space you are used to operating. And then slowly over time, it'll kind of keep evolving. And the next thing you know, you'll be like, oh, remember browsers? Right? Yep. Like that's, I think like that's where we're coming from. Yeah.
I also think that as somebody who grew up and built my career on cell phones and smartphones, I do think there's a future where that's not our primary device. And when you start thinking like, okay, it's EarPods, and that's how we're mostly interacting. And maybe there's some visual that pops up somewhere, but in that world, yeah, we don't care what the freaking browser is. We're just saying what we want, and it just goes and gets it for us, right? And so I guess like part of their long-term plan that they need the browser infra. Okay, that makes sense. Am I going to change from all my Chrome stuff? And I'm sure I can import bookmarks and favorites and all that stuff, but it's like, Chrome works just fine for me. It's kind of like I said, I'd rather Coinbase integrate into X. I'd rather these AI companies just build extensions in Chrome, but I get it from a strategic point long-term. Makes sense. Yeah,
it's kind of funny. Now I reflecting on how I even use browsers now. And I'm like, AI has already changed the way I use a browser now. Like my experience now is like, ChatGPT is home base, and everything stems off of there.
Think about this. Previously, before ChatGPT, before AI, what percentage would you say when you opened up a browser previously, the first thing you typed in, if it wasn't your homepage, was Google?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
It's funny. I went to Google yesterday.
99% of those are out. Like, I don't do that anymore. And so it's like my browser usage, at least my first stop, has all been eliminated.
Mm-hmm. So, totally. I went to Google yesterday for, gosh, I forget exactly what I was looking for. Some website, but it was because like what I typed into ChatGPT didn't give me a good result. And so I was like, oh, I'm sure Google, I could get this from Google. And I thought to myself, oh, this is the first time I've gone to Google in months, like that as the starting point for any type of search, which I just think is kind of crazy. And I tweeted this a couple of weeks ago, like, I don't think my kids are ever going to use Google. Like, why would they?
Wild.
You just type what you're looking. I mean, I think there still is a world for a lot of people where if you're looking for a specific website or something, you type it into like, if you're trying to get to your bank website or something, you don't have it bookmarked or whatever it is, you type it into the top search bar and it takes you through Google. But like
right now, but like, I don't like even that, like the thought of going to your bank website, I see a future where you don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
just
I do that
like,
all from mobile
like,
now anyway.
transfer $100 to Steve.
Yeah, but the bank's like one example of like I might be looking for some random thing. I don't know what it is. Like if I need to find like okay, example.
Yeah, a page
want,
that you when I prep for this and look for news stories, right? I'm using Google News.
Yes.
And what I type into my browser is GOOG, and it's the first thing. It's the cookie that pops up is my saved search from the last time I went there, and that's literally the only reason I do it is because I know it's gonna auto populate, and I don't even have to do anything else. I just click on that.
Yeah, or like a restaurant, a new restaurant I'm checking out. I want to see the menu. Like there's still various things that will I think change to your point over the future. But yeah, Bunchu's like, what was I using Google for? It's like, wait, Conor McGregor, what? Anyway, we could you got something else in the share that
sexy rugged beard. What video?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought this headline was great because we already talked about it, but this is from The Verge. I spent 24 hours flirting with Elon Musk's AI girlfriend. Now I'm going to bleach my soul and get myself. I don't have a Verge account. I guess I can't go any further than that. See, AI would fix this. It would scrape the page and tell me what I wanted to know.
Yeah. Yeah. The that happens to me way too.
But I just thought that headline was funny.
No, it's a good headline, and also, yeah, to your point, like I'm ready. Like I do use AI for that, where I'm like, oh, this Atlantic article, because I like to read like long form Atlantic articles, and I like doing a like long form read. And then I'm like, oh, I can't get here because I didn't subscribe. Hey, ChatGPT, give me a summary of what was said in here. It's like, sure, no problem, and it just goes into like it's one free click article and then pulls it down for me. So, shout out ChatGPT, appreciate that.
Yeah,
go ahead, sir.
No, I was gonna just say, yeah, that's what I do all the time because I don't subscribe to any of these. Everything's behind a paywall. And the only other big news story that I had today was that Zuck, obviously we talked about him spending hundreds of millions of dollars to lure OpenAI employees. Yesterday, he came out and said that he is building a data center the size of Manhattan in his latest push. So I was like the Zuckerberg AI story. Sorry, dude, my internet is terrible today. I'm so sorry.
You're good. Did he say where he's building it?
No. Let me see if it says in this article. I would imagine probably
Manhattan, actually. Yeah, Manhattan. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just going to buy all Manhattan. Let's set him up with our boy Riggs.
I asked because a lot of this stuff is heading north to Columbus. Like just a random Midwestern, the Palmer Luckey and all that he's doing is building a big data center in Columbus and a few other things popping in that market, but not relevant. No one else cares.
Maybe they're going to repurpose the giant Longaberger basket.
That's a very niche reference that a lot of people aren't going to get. They were a client when I was at a PR firm, is Longaberger, and we had to do. There's not a lot of PR you could do on a giant basket. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that right now.
There's also a client of mine when I had major accounts for Verizon. Longaberger was one of.
Where was their money coming from? That like they were just like, yeah. So it's a
my mom.
Yeah, you see how expensive this are?
It's like Norm Macdonald on Celebrity Jeopardy. Like it's a basket, but bigger.
Longaberger basket were what my mom and her sisters got into before NFTs.
Oh yeah, they were NFTs for middle-aged housewives. That's my mom has hundreds of Longaberger baskets.
I'm sure I can. I'm sure if I went in the other room, I could track down a Longaberger basket here somewhere. Probably.
I can't believe
if you have no idea what we're talking about, I feel like I have to pull up a picture now because
please do. The reason I brought that one up was I just saw, I'm full of just so dated references today, but I saw a tweet this morning that was like, oh, the United States will never have, the great cathedrals and old churches and great architecture buildings that Europe has. And somebody just posted a picture of the the Longaberger basket building, and they're like, no, but we have a giant fucking picnic basket.
This is real. Like this is actually what the building looks like.
That's a real building.
But yeah, this is the real building. It looks like a basket.
It's incredible. Maybe that'll be the new AI data center. But yeah, that's all the main things that I had today. Keep an eye out for the browsers. I'm sure they're gonna hit this afternoon from OpenAI. I'm excited to try it out. I wasn't a huge user of the operator agent, that initial browser agent. I just felt like it was kind of too early to do the things that we really wanted it to do. But now, having seen kind of like 03 Pro, since then, I think the tools have gotten so much better. So I think this is going to be pretty impressive, I would imagine. So we'll see what happens this afternoon.
Interesting. Well, look, man, appreciate you popping up and giving us the updates and even going through all the crazy grok stuff. The browser thing is super interesting. It's like, these are the little things where it's like, we're here for it now, and it's just going to seem so obvious in like 10 years or 5 years or even 2 years. And right now we're like, dude, there's an AI browser. And then it's just like, it's just going to be a browser. It's like the same way blockchain gaming is just going to be gaming. And so, super interesting, and always appreciate you giving us the early alpha and the early drops on it. And next week you have to report back on how the browser usage was.
Definitely. Maybe we'll do a demo or something.
Looking forward to that. And then any chance that this data center isn't built in the US? Banana Rat also has a Substack there, some interesting thoughts on ETH and other discussions today. So check that out in the chat. But he says only a handful of North American locations have the juice to run super AI centers. And guess what? Most of them are in Canada. Hydro, nuclear, green, hydro, tides, cold air, stable grid, stable environment. The Banana Rat has spoken. So any chance at all that Zuck would put it outside of the US?
Maybe. It's funny, the article I just closed down, but because I didn't think we were going to get to it. But it was basically a map of like the US and like where the most AI ready locations in the US are in terms of like power supply and availability to build data centers. And like, to his point, there's not a lot of, mega center capabilities like this. There was a bunch of like, Elon built in Texas and around Austin. There's a bunch of places in California. It's all the places you would think, these metro hubs that or in like large states. But I think there's probably a good chance that we can't put them all here in terms of like how much power you're going to need from these data centers. So I think it's not a bad take at all. And print the t-shirts. The Banana Rat has spoken. It's always been like, that tagline's been going at it for years. I appreciate it.
Love the hustle.
Anything else on the AI front we didn't ask you today, or anything else you wanted to hit on in general?
No, I think that's it. I think we're about to have another kind of exponential move in the next couple weeks, I would think. Just the way the rumors in the streets of like when all these new models are coming out.
Say someone has to top the Grok update, right? Like we haven't had like a leader in the AI testing that's lasted for I feel like longer than a month. Someone always leapfrogs them, so I'm expecting one of them to come out with a new update that flies past the.
I think it'll be. Yeah, I think it's going to be Google next, and then I think it'll be GPT-5 is what I think is going to happen.
Interesting. And I saw Gary jump back up on stage. Gary, you got a quick question for Bunch before we let him get out of here?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Bunch, it sounds like you're paying good money for OpenAI, ChatGPT, probably like 200 plus. And so you're not like using as much other stuff. Yeah, I definitely see this world where we have AIs talking to AIs and surfing the web for us, but we're still going to have browsers because, the AI is going to tell us something. And then, some things we're going to want to check in and check those things out. Bunch, what do you think about, because I work, in tech. And so I'm not counting out Google. Google is a major force and their product is free. The thing about OpenAI is that the products start very expensive and they eventually become free. But, everyone has this theory that SEO is going to go away and Google's going to go away. And I have this theory that Google's going to pivot And instead of people typing in their browser and getting 10 blue links, Google's just going to completely do away with the 10 blue links, and they're just going to give us their own AI. They're already massively testing with, AI and AI, browsers and all that stuff. So what do we think about, Google's power combined with the fact that they have a free product and existing users versus, OpenAI and a sort of pay to play or less freemium or less of a user base? Like, should people be discounting, like, even though Google search has been decreasing because people are using ChatGPT more, the majority of people use free products, and, people shouldn't discount, Google and Google's ability to come back. Would you agree or disagree?
I totally agree. I think, it's funny. It felt like a year ago that Google was so lagging behind to the point where people were talking about, like, where the hell is Google in all of this? And it was almost a joke. And in the past year, their models now compete at the highest level with Gemini 2.5. And it's probably my second go-to. It used to be Claude for me, but the same reason you actually just mentioned about kind of the hurdles of ChatGPT, I find amplified by 10 with Claude. Like, if you're not paying for Claude, or on the the top tier, you almost have like zero capability to do anything productive with the free tier. You hit your limits in like 2 or 3 prompts with Opus, and it's just like almost unusable unless you're paying for it. Whereas on the other hand, I could take that same thing and go to Gemini, and it's got a 2 million token context window, and it's it's very good. And I think the other thing, so to there's like the Gemini in terms of how good are their models. I think they are top tier with everybody at this point, if not the best. And then like the topic of search and SEO, I think SEO is still going to change, but it's going to look more like you just described, right? It's going to be kind of like it's going to be almost like what the LLMs are indexed for to recommend to you, right? So like the way we think of ranking on a search engine is going to change. You're going to try to index your website for LLM discoverability rather than Google search discoverability now. But I think to your other, Google's still a major player, and if not like a great spot to be the leader because of the data and distribution they have. Like, that's what wins this race, is data and distribution, and they have both, and they have obviously the money to continue to develop these things. So I totally think you're spot on with where Google plays in this race. And then like the last thing I'll say about Google is like, their product suite is really great. Like Notebook LM is one of the most powerful tools I've used in AI, and they can continue to develop these really great. I think OpenAI is probably still lagging behind in, if I were to be honest about that. Like, I think they're getting better at it, but I still think Google's kind of has the ability to out productize their stuff as well. So I totally agree. Google's probably still in the pole position to be a leader, but I think like the just as people have said, it's come to our vernacular to like Google it. Like ChatGPT got out to such a huge mind share that they have kind of this incumbent-y feel to them too. So, Mark.
Yeah, it's definitely a it's definitely a like Google's not going to take it lying down, but like this is but we also had this discussion. It's so funny because we had this discussion like probably over a year ago at this point about the idea that SEO is being replaced by, will be replaced, because I think it was when I was like looking at like watches or something, and I noticed I was getting the same references over and over again. So, Gary, go ahead and you respond, and then we will let Bunch get out of here.
I got one more question, Bunch.
Okay.
Gary. Go ahead, Gary.
Okay, Gary, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks, Bunch. Really appreciate your insights as always. Yeah, full disclosure, I do work at a Fortune 100 tech company, and I could tell you that pretty much every tech company in the world right now is focused on AI engine optimization, and the rules are extremely similar to search engine optimization, but there are some key differences. So SEO absolutely is not going away, even if search engines and browsers go away. We just have to make sure that visibility maintains, and it's critical that we talk
Yeah,
about
that'd be
our
so
brand,
interesting.
because
That's
instead
like,
of someone saying go to ChatGPT or Google and saying, "Hey, order me a pizza," you want to say, "Hey, order me a Pizza Hut pizza." So it's really important that we build our brand, and so people talk about our brands, and we make good content, and so thanks, guys.
that's some sneaky alpha there that he just dropped that pay attention to for sure. Like, I mean, man, you learn to rank on these things, you have a superpower ahead of, just think of how big the SEO boom became, just in terms of like even jobs, right? Like there were entire careers made out of people who could do SEO well, right?
And this is probably a deeper conversation. I do want to get the quick question before I forget, but on this topic, like maybe for another time to really dive deep into this, because everyone talks about doom and fear over AI taking all these jobs and losing jobs to AI. Very few people talk about, or I don't see very often anyways, talking about all the new jobs that are in professions that are being created right now. And I can't remember another time where they're like in my lifetime outside of the internet boom where this stuff happened, right? Like someone an expert in SEO didn't exist pre-internet. Just like an expert in this didn't exist pre, ChatGPT and these LLMs taking on. Like it's just there's so many opportunities. I was joking with Zane in the chat, but I've been listening to Greg. This is bad. I don't remember the name of the podcast. Someone help me out. Greg Eisenberg, I believe is his last name. The Startup Ideas podcast. Pretty difficult to remember that name. Yeah, the Startup Ideas.
Greg Eisenberg.
And like one of the things he was talking about yesterday is not just jobs, but new businesses. Like the idea of anti-tech businesses is growing already, and you're probably going to see more of them. Like the idea of just like no phone retreats, no phone hotels, resorts, devices that lock your phone for hours or days. No phone concerts or shows. Just forming a group in a community that you get together once a month with no electronic devices. He says, decent segment of the population will seek out these experiences, pay premium. He mentions, knowing 20 people who use the brick devices to lock their phones on the weekends. Like, this stuff didn't exist pre-phones. You didn't need it. Like, there's a wave of new opportunities right now. And as an entrepreneur, my brain is like, it's just like every day there's something, okay, like what am I really passionate about? What do I want to pursue? Because we've said many times, it is the time for the idea guy and gal. I don't think it's ever been greater than now. And it's not just because your ability to help execute things and ship stuff with the help of AI, because there's entire new industries being created. Probably every single month there's something new that comes out, and you could go build forget a next unicorn. I think the opportunity to go build a business that generates you somewhere between 200 and 500 grand a year of free cash. Like I don't know if we've ever been in a better time in human history to do that. And I'm not even exaggerating. It's not hyperbole. I think now is the time. If you're a builder, if you're excited about this stuff, like there's so much stuff that it's just like, are people working on it now? Sure. Could one of these AI companies come in and update their features and they put you out of business the next month? Sure. It's just, man, it's a really exciting time to be an entrepreneur, really exciting time to be a builder. And it's very few people talk about it. Like all the new opportunities, the new jobs that are actually being created. And anyways, question I do have for you coming from Be Epic in the chat. Any recommendations on an AI course for a 9-year-old? It says, I've seen some ads for Course IV. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I actually haven't looked too much into this. I think there's probably a huge opportunity for somebody to create a good AI course for kids. I actually haven't seen too many that are geared towards kids. I'll have to look into Course IV and get Be Epic a better answer on that.
It wasn't where I was going with my long rant there, but
Yeah,
another perfect
you
example,
share a
like,
link in the board.
Education and for different segments on how to use this stuff, like very
I
real.
I almost tweeted about this the other day because like I've been looking for something to do that I'm passionate about on top of sort of the content stuff, and like one of those things, when my kids are both in middle school, I'm going to teach them an AI class, and the other kids as well, and figure out what that looks like. And man, like I would love to like work in an industry like that, because that's a cool thing. And by the way, like I got cooked for this take like 2 months ago, by the way, about like AI creating new jobs. Cause I said, like, look, it's not going to fix manufacturing jobs going away or things or whatever they are, but like it is going to create entirely new jobs and industries the way it has before. The way that previous iterations of the internet and other things have before, or even the internet itself. So I am not only supportive of this take, I like this take. And I think that, yeah, like that is one of the AI education is one of the things that I think would be a really fun thing that I'm surprised that the open AIs of the world aren't trying to use it to incept their technology into the hands of more kids who are already using it, but being able to show them how to really use it in ways that are like impactful to them, I think could be good. So something to keep an eye on for sure. Bunch, appreciate you, my friend. Always have a good discussion. Always love talking AI. And yeah, like till next time, either we chat or we chat with our LLMs about whatever we got going in our lives.
I'll just share my therapy sessions with you via ChatGPT link, and
yeah, it's same.
Thanks,
I'll just
guys.
send it back to you and be like, here's what's going on. All right, man, have a good one.
Yeah.
And there goes Steph Curry. Yeah, man. The job thing is really interesting to me, and it's something that like I have been like saying as a take. I should have probably come out with it so I could quote tweet myself. I just think I just vocalized it. But like, I think that there's going to be a lot of jobs created and a lot of industries created, and I think, everybody always thinks the new thing is going to take everyone's job, and then it doesn't. Like, the Industrial Revolution was going to be the end of it as we know it. I don't know if you saw this. I haven't seen the actual clip, but I saw Justin Elizabeth Warren says crypto could blow up the entire U.S. economy. So I'm guessing she's underexposed. She said it'll blow up the U.S. economy. Crypto will tank. She will buy it, and then she'll talk about why it's great, probably. So I don't know. I don't trust these Congress people playing these meta games anymore.
I do have like on that topic. There's a few other like high level flyover things I at least wanted to reference or hit on today. On a positive note, the 3 bills have cleared their final hurdle in the House. They could pass as early as this afternoon. So stay tuned on that. We'll certainly touch more on them tomorrow, whether they pass or not. But just wanted to at least reference that. And then one more beating of the ETH bull drum here. It's a good looking chart. This is the Ethereum ETF flows. They are booming. 3.3. So it's 5.5 billion since launch, but 3.3 billion of that is just since mid-April. What happened here? Do you remember back? Like, I do remember the launch. I remember like being disappointed that there wasn't a media tour. I was kind of shocked. What happened in November that started like these really just the up only on inflows? Do you remember?
Oh, wow. I'm up good on my ETH ETF, by the way, which I hadn't checked in a while, which isn't like massive, but I forgot that I did put money into an ETH ETF at one point, and I hadn't checked it in a hot minute. So it's doing well.
Because if you remember, like, here's the other crazy thing. Even though ETH is ripping, everyone's excited, it still hasn't even reached its highs from December. It was over 4K in December. So it's ripping, but it's still not even back to like this cycle's highs. This right here in November when the money started flowing, and then it topped out at like 3 billion, dipped a little bit, and it's just like ripped since April. But I can't understand the timing of this buying pressure on these ETFs. I'm not complaining, but it's pretty staggering to look at. And hey, maybe this chart flips the other way and we start seeing net outflows. I think everything we expected is now happening on the ETF front. We saw with Bitcoin, we're seeing it with ETH. And so the question to kind of leave you with this, to kind of percolate over the next 24 hours or 22 hours rather, do you think that will trickle down to all these other tokens that are going the ETF route? I don't know how many are pending currently, but it's over a dozen, I think, from Solana to XRP to Pingu. Like, might that, like, I don't know. I at first I thought no. At first I thought the only traditional people, they're going to be buying Bitcoin and ETH, and everything else is like, there's just not going to be much interest. I'm starting to rethink that. How bullish or bearish are you on the non-major ETFs?
I think we're going to need sustainability of these. So like Bitcoin ETF has shown some good strength, and I think it's gotten enough attention. I think if the ETH ETF stays strong for like another couple of months, and the crypto market keeps doing well, like, yeah, I think going into the end of the year, like, we're probably going to be well positioned at that point to see other ETFs come. I don't know what the approval process looks like, but again, like, I keep going back to like this very basic behavior. We discovered crypto. You probably bought some Bitcoin. You might have bought it on Coinbase. The next thing you did was bought Ethereum. What else is out there to buy? What else? It's like, if there's demand to buy things and people are looking at the thing that has already sailed a ridiculous percentage, like, yeah, like, we're probably going to see either baskets or other opportunities that are rolling into ETFs. I keep wondering when Lucas says like the big thing is coming in Q4. I feel like he said at one point, is it going to be TradFi?
He's obviously biased, but he obviously believes that the ETFs are gonna do wonders for all tokens, not just ETH and Bitcoin. I think it just came out 27 minutes ago. Says soon there'll be two cohorts of tokens, those with ETFs and those without. I don't think it's that cut and dry, but man, it's one thing to see Bitcoin and ETH. If we start seeing non-majors cook with ETFs, things get silly, Steve.
Yeah. Well, look, I think you get a really silly season around here. I think you get crazy, but yeah, I mean, we'll have to see where it goes. I'm feeling generally good about the position of ETH and other ETFs at the moment, and yeah, man, I feel relatively. I think you're right. I think like we could see this trickle into other ETFs. I just think we probably need a little more time on it, because it's like if the ETF does well, but then ETH, drops back down and it loses interest or loses favor, or again, like there's a black swan event. I don't think we see it, but I do see that as a potential. There's a potential catalyst there.
In all seriousness, it's got me wanting to make some moves for the Penguin NFT exposure in case it does hit. My expectations are in check. I'm not expecting it to do nearly what the ETFs have done for Bitcoin or ETH, but if it does, yeah, I don't want to be sidelined.
I got zero ability to acquire a Penguin NFT, so I'm unfortunately going to be out on that one. As much as I would love to have one,
I'd start with at least a little or two.
Oh, Pengu, you mean? Or like, I was thinking you're talking about a little penguin. Yes, I have a little pudgy. Right. I mean, yes, like there's probably a world where I get another little pudgy, to your point. Like, that's actually not a bad call that I've actually thought about a few times. So that's not a bad call. I see your point there. So
assuming they're in that, I haven't read, I should go read the details. I know NFTs are, it's a percentage of whatever the fund is made up. I don't know if it's bigs and littles or rods or just bigs. I don't know. I need to figure out though.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Exciting stuff. Exciting times to be here right now. And as always, I feel woefully underexposed to everything.
It's a good feeling. It's better to be underexposed than your bag's just bleeding out to zero. I don't know. I know you said that the PFP things were all organic. I believe agents, and they said that. I didn't think they paid for any of that. I think it was just these brands riding the wave. I don't know if this is just continuation or if they're doing a paid deal with CoinGecko, but I mean, they're locked in right now.
they were on, I mean, why am I blanking on his name? Sean Kelly, right? Who was in the crypto space for a while, who has the podcast that's like really crushing it right now, that has a lot of people who does major numbers, has major guests on it. Just had Luca on there. They're doing the CoinGecko thing. Like, Luca is hitting things in full force, like almost nobody else in Web3 right now. Like, they've turned on the faucet, and I don't think they're slowing down. And so, it does feel like I'm looking at Lil Pudgy's. Like, I'm considering making more moves into that ecosystem. I have a bag of Pangu. I'm considering having a bigger bag of Pangu and making Pangu and Rect my big bets of the cycle. And we'll see, let the chips fall where they may. It's a very, very exciting time right now to be in. In crypto. So we shall see where that goes. But yeah, the Pudgy ecosystem seems pretty unstoppable right now.
And then last thing, I pinned it up top. Steve and he mentioned earlier in passing, we're going to be joining the Espresso crew today at noon Eastern. I don't know if there's a link, but that'll be live at noon Eastern from Sansa's account. We'll be joining Flyride over there, which cool chick you asked about the carousel. That video tutorial is from Flyride, who will be one of the co-hosts today. And then in addition to that, at noon, I pinned up with a link to the spotlight for Ape Chain. If you've not yet hit that, you can create your own markets with Clutch. They're the one that you see them shared there was, will Pump token reach 10 billion fully diluted value by the July 20th? It's a hard no for me. And then last but not least, we're going to get our pretty sure this is Phil, Board FM, waking up today and asking how you can join me and follow the Board Bones on Ape on X. OG in the club, been a great supporter, not just of this show, but almost any and everyone in the space, is extremely excited to deliver some awesome on-chain art, arcade gaming, community lore, and more. Put a lot of time into organic growth and would love you to join. So more on that soon, but I just saw that from Board FM and wanted to share, pin that up top. And like I said, look forward to a future conversation here with Phil and the crew.
Yeah, same. Look, that said, let's send everybody off into their day. Good conversation this morning. Just exciting times. Seems like there's more news every day, so we'll be curious and keep you up to date on latest meta, latest opportunities, and we'll continue to hope TradFi is jumping for our bags. Thanks everyone who came through this morning. We will talk to everybody bright and early tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, everybody.
Thanks for tuning into Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin. We hope you enjoyed the show, and remember, nothing we discussed today is financial advice. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Welcome to the future.